Worship with Gratitude. This week the song is Count Your Blessings, and we have some awesome devotional aspects from this song. No matter who you are, this is a song that you can relate to. So head on over, take a look at what we have on the blog for this. If you haven't grabbed those free printables, go ahead and grab them. And if you have not joined us on Facebook or Instagram, come on to @DevoInAction and like and follow so you don't miss out on any great content in this Worship with Gratitude series. I want to head on over to my table, and you're going to see we're going to use some gelatos and the free printables, take a little dive into mixed media, which I really don't do all that often. So come have fun with me and let's make a mess. So here I am at my table. Hey everybody. These are the free printables. I have just printed them out on plain copy paper, and I'm kind of looking through them and deciding, I know I'm going to use this Count Your Blessings. I don't think I'm going to cut it out. I think I'm just going to trace it onto my page and use that. I'm going to use this He is Good, He is God circle there. And then these are just backgrounds that you can use. I've got kind of this idea of making like sky and hills maybe for the beauty of the earth. And then I included our 4 songs for this month, the actual sheet music for them to use in there. And I'm going to cut out that Count Your Blessings and use it on this page as well. You don't have to do mixed media at all. You don't have to do art at all. You can just journal your thoughts, but I enjoy responding to God in this way, in this creative way, responding to His Word. So I've cut out those 2, and I'm gonna trace this Count Your Blessings onto the page here in Psalms 103, and we're focusing on Psalms 103 verses 1 through 5. And I've got some gesso here, so I'm going to prep my page and shake it up really well. And then prepping your page is just providing a layer that's kind of a barrier. What this does is, when you're going to use a lot of water on your page, which I'm going to use when I use those gelatos in a little bit, I'm going to use a lot of water on the page. And I find that, watercolors don't really bleed through all that much, but they do kind of soak into these illustrating Bible pages quite quickly. And so this kind of slows down that process a bit for me so that I can work with the watercolors on top of the page a little bit longer. Hit those with a heat tool and get that gesso dry, and that provides kind of just that little barrier on top of the page. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick this down with some washi tape to a piece of paper behind it, because when you gesso it or watercolor, a lot of times the corners will curl up on the page, and to make the page lay flat, I'm just going to use a couple of pieces of washi tape. Someone at the conference actually this year taught me a little trick. If you tap that washi tape on your fingers and then do this, it won't tear it's not as sticky, so it won't tear your pages when you do pull it up at the end. And so that's a really nifty little trick that I learned this October at the Hope in the Lord Bible Journaling Conference. So that's pretty cool. So I'm pulling out these and I'm setting them there and thinking, I need a little bit more than this. So I knew I wanted to do that Count Your Blessings, but I think I might also use those 2 leaves with that acorn there, just kind of on the corner there. So I'm going to cut that out really quickly. And be able to put that there, and I like that grouping a little bit better with all 3 of those there. I'm going to grab that Count Your Blessings again one more time and stick it underneath the page here so that I can trace those words. And you're going to see when I zoom in, I'm sorry about this, I don't know what the deal is with my camera right now or my editing software, but it used to not do this, and I've got to figure out what's going on. It's going to make it a little grainy, but I did want you to see kind of close up what I was doing. I'm using that favorite pen of mine, the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, and I am doing this before I gelato. If you're going to use a lot of water on your page and you don't have a pen that is India ink or a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, then you'll need to do this in pencil and then do the letters later, or you could gelato or watercolor or do a background and cut out that Count Your Blessings page and add that when we add the other paper to the page. But the reason I like this pen so much is that it doesn't react to the water. So it won't smudge or smear or turn the page black, it will stay right where it's supposed to be, even though I'm going to put a ton of water on this page. So just filling in those letters right there with that pen and speeding it along for you, because otherwise this video would be really, really long, because I was just playing away and not paying attention to the time when I was filming this. So now we're going to pull out those. These are also Faber-Castell. They're Gelatos. It's a set my husband bought me as a gift. He got them at Hobby Lobby. They were on sale. And these are really interesting. I don't pull them out super often. Like I said, I don't do mixed media really often. My go-to is like to draw something and watercolor it or use colored pencils. That's kind of my happy place, my normal, I don't know, I feel comfortable going there. And so that's where I normally go when I'm Bible art journaling. But today I thought I might play with some other things. And I have a friend at church. Her name is Linda, and she loves to do mixed media. And so she's inspiring me to give it a try, take a little dive into mixed media. So a shout out to Linda for pushing me out of my comfort zone a little bit and trying something new. And I'm just going to go right for it. I'm taking these Gelatos. They're kind of creamy. They feel kind of creamy. Crayon-y, I don't know, creamy crayons, but they don't react that way. They react kind of like watercolors on the page when you add water. So that's really cool. So I'm adding some fall colors, some orange, some yellow, some red, some pink. I'm adding to this page, and it looks very fluorescent. And I put them on there thinking I'm gonna really have to tone this down with some grays or some browns or something, because it's gonna be so bright. It's gonna be, I mean, way too bright for what I want on this page. And as I was putting these on here, I'm like, have I made a huge mistake? Like, what is this gonna look like? I don't even know. And so I am just, you can tell right now it looks awful, right? It's just terrible. They're crazy bright fluorescent, really dark crayon-y colors, but just watch what happens when you add water. It's like magic. This awesome magic trick. So when you add that in, and I don't know why I went for the red first, but I will give this tip. Like, when you put your water on your brush, do all of the same color first, unless you want a muddy mixture of everything. Unless you want them to just really run into one another and mix all together. Like, once I did that red first, I needed to do all the reds on the page. And then clean my brush, put fresh water on it, and go for another color. So I'm looking around, are there any more reds? One down here, catch all those little reds in there, and get those reds done. And then I'm going to clean my brush and go color by color throughout this page to activate those Gelatos, and it makes this really cool kind of watercolor wash. Now, I don't want them to stay separate. I want them to kind of blend together a little bit, so I am running those edges into those other colors, but I do think you need like fresh water in between a lot of the colors, or to add more water if they're pretty similar in colors. While I'm doing this and creating this background on here, I'll just read the scripture to you. It says, this is Psalm 103, 1 through 5. It says, "My soul, bless the Lord, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. My soul, bless the Lord." I love how we're like commanding our soul in this. Command your soul, bless the Lord. Tell it, and do not forget all his benefits. He forgives all your iniquity, and he heals all your diseases. He redeems your life from the pit. He crowns you with faithful love and compassion. He satisfies you with good things. Your youth is renewed like the eagle. And this harkens back to several of our scriptures from the Hope Challenge that we just finished up at the end of October. I love how God kind of works things out, and it all ties together. And it really wasn't through any mastermind plan of mine. It just sort of happened that way, and how God's word comes back to some really awesome themes. We see we're telling ourselves we're making a choice. It's this decision. It's that coin that you can choose either faith or fear. We're going to choose to bless the Lord no matter our circumstances with all that is within us. we're not going to forget all that he's already done for us and all that he promises in his word. We're going to be renewed like the eagle, and we're going to be satisfied with his good things. He has faithful love that's new every morning. So you see these themes that keep coming up in all of our Bible art journaling this year. I think God's really, there's a theme of encouragement, of giving us hope and letting us know that we can make a decision to lift our heads and focus on what he has done for us. And I didn't like the stark white on the Count Your Blessings, and the yellow was starting to run down, so then I kind of mixed them all together and came on the Count Your Blessings, and I didn't really care for that very much. So I'm gonna try to fix it. I think I'm gonna take like a light pinkish purple and add another color in there. Also, in between here, I did hit it with a heat gun and dry this, and you'll notice that there's like, I love that center one that kind of streaks down, like the liquid moving. As I dried this, I saw even more texture and pattern to this. Really love this. I'm probably going to use gelatos more because these were really fun. These were a good time. Good times were had by all when you pull out the gelatos. So I'm just activating that pinkish purple, and I do like that. I would like a little bit more of it, so put it other places on the page so it's repeated and feels like it's supposed to be there. Something you may not know about me as I'm doing this is that I come from a musical family. At our family reunions with our extended family even, so my grandparents, my cousins, second cousins, third cousins, great uncles, great aunts, all that kind of stuff, we would gather around a piano, pull out old hymn books, and sing songs. And our song from this time, Count Your Blessings, was one that we always did. I don't remember which of the older people in the group it was their favorite, but it must have been somebody pretty important because we did it like every single time. I'm taking some black watercolor, but hardly any water. I pulled out a brush that was wet and dried it with a paper towel a little bit and then dabbed it in this black, and I'm using it to make some little crosses, adding some pattern to this page a little bit, just some more layers to it. Mixed media is kind of characterized by layers. You see a lot going on, even though the whole thing makes this one unified idea. There's normally a lot going on a page that has a mixed media theme to it. So I just kind of add those little crosses in there. And I'm just kind of taking a look as I do each step, like what should I add? What do I want? That kind of thing. Here I've got my little cutouts, and I've realized that I've left too much white space in that center, and I need to fill that in because it looked really strange. So I'm going to use this red, and the reason I'm choosing it is because it will provide a nice contrast against the creamy kind of color of that sheet music picture. So just going to fill in this red here. And the song Count Your Blessings is very interesting because each verse of Count Your Blessings addresses kind of a different theme. So the first verse says, when upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you feel like you're in the middle of the storm and you can't see your way out of it, when you feel like everything is, there's no way out, everything's lost, you feel like life has just rolled you under the waves and is holding you under. Then it says, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. In those times when it feels like life is just really, really bad, it's time to count our blessings and focus on what God has already done for us. Now I'm just taking some black and kind of grounding this page. I'm giving it a foundation, I'm giving it some corners, some edges, I'm adding in a little bit of that gray and black in here. So it's not quite so bright everywhere, right? So it has a little bit of depth and texture and just a little bit more going on. Mixed media, you just keep adding a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. This is my non-mixed media artist opinion on this. When I look at mixed media, I always think if you look at it long enough, you see more and more and more that is happening on the page. And so I think that's the impression I always get from mixed media anyway. So you're definitely dealing with an amateur here. And then I thought I'd like to add some white, but I wanted to have some kind of texture. And I saw this little tiny plastic bag that was sitting on the floor. I don't know what it came off of. I hope it wasn't important because I still don't know what it came off of, but I threw it away after I did this project. And I opened up, that is some white gouache. It's like a white acrylic paint would work. It's sort of like a white acrylic. It acts the same way. And it was a brand new bottle, so I opened it up and I just took the sealant cap thing there and put the white paint on here. And then I'm just kind of creating these little dabs of white paint. I can't control it all that much because I don't know what it's gonna do, which is a little out of my control, sort of like that feeling like you're tossed by the waves. But I really like how it came out. It's kind of fun to have all those white splotches on there. And now I've got quite a bit of moisture on this page. I've been drying in between and not showing it on camera, but I do need to hit that to get it really dry before I start the next stage there. And now I'm gonna order these pieces that I have cut out however I want them on the page, and kind of checking to see, I can still, through the gelatos, I can still see the words of the thing, even though it doesn't look like that on camera. I can still read the words of this passage, and I didn't want to put this music over the top of it, so I want to make sure I get it in the right spot. I'm using Liquitex matte gel medium. Matte gel medium is kind of like clear acrylic paint, and it works really, really well in Bible art journaling as a mixed media glue top. I mean, just to do mixed media with, to put stuff in your Bible like this and glue it down, glue on top of it. It works well with that because it doesn't leave a sticky. Okay, so the first time I ever did mixed media, I did this really cool, I like how it turned out, page about Noah and the rainbow, and I used Mod Podge. And those pages always stick together. I'm always trying to pull those pages apart. They just stick. But this does not stick. So very happy that I have since learned about matte gel medium. So now I'm going to put that He is Good, He is God circle overlapping that sheet music. And I'm going to take the lovely acorn with the 2 leaves, and I just, as I'm gluing this down, I'm just checking the corners and the edges, sliding my brush up underneath that with some matte gel medium, and making sure that goes all the way down and it's really, really stuck. And then of course you have to dry that. You have to dry the living snot out of it because it's really, really wet when you put it down. That's a southern term, dry the living snot out of it. I don't know. I guess I probably grew up with that. I say it a lot. I don't know. I don't know where I got it. Oh well, maybe one of you can clue me in on the etymology of why we do the living snot out of things. If we're from the South. I'm from Southeast Texas, and it just seems like that seems like that. Now I wanted to put kind of a whitish edge around these pieces of paper, and so I've got some more of that gouache that I've put in my palette there, and I'm going to use a paintbrush to kind of come along the edge of these and create a border, something that makes them kind of pop out from the page a little bit, because right now they're in the midst of all of this color, and they don't pop out as much as I would like them to. So I'm going to come around here and put some white. This is messy. It's not precise. I'm not looking for it to be super, I don't know, measured or precise or careful. It can go over the edge of the paper. It can go on the outside. I'm just looking for it to kind of create almost a glow. If you've worked in Photoshop ever, you can add outer glows that kind of seem to glow from underneath the object that you've put in Photoshop. And so underneath that layer, and this is what I'm doing here, I'm kind of creating that outer glow as if something underneath it is glowing, and so it's shining around the edges, making that lighter look to it all the way around. And even on top of the other pieces, like on top of that music, I'm creating that glow that would come out from the other layer. So this is part of what mixed media is. It's that you're using different kinds of paint, and you're using papers that you glue down, and you're using, whatever, pens, all kinds of different things. So you will zoom in, and I'm going to use just a micron, I think it's an 05 sized black micron pen. These are good journaling pens. They're what I started with when I started journaling in a Bible, was these micron pens. They work really well, and I'm just going to do a messy outline of these because it still didn't pop quite enough. I just want on top of that white, and I dried in between, so that's dry so that you don't ruin your pen nib. So verse 2 talks about being burdened. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will keep singing as the days go by. So when we feel like we are just overwhelmed with all that we have to do, overwhelmed with how hard life is in the moment, overwhelmed with tasks or responsibilities, if we'll start to count our blessings, then that heaviness will lift. And as we finish up this Bible art journaling entry, which we're pretty close here, I thought you might like to hear the song, Count Your Blessings. You're going to forgive my piano playing. I am not a pianist. I am terrible, but I'm going to butcher my way through this song and sing it for you. So here is Count Your Blessings.
When upon life's billows you are tempest tossed, when you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, count your many blessings, see what God has done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does this cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt